Okay, just a quick correction from the Italy Turn 3 video. Ironside, when he was doing this suicide attack with the Italian infantry from Ethiopia going into British Somaliland, he accidentally rolled a 2 for the Italian infantry instead of a 1. So my planes already hit him with the dice that he threw, but I will re-roll the 1. To see whether or not he actually gets one of my planes. He hit with the 2, but it's a 2, so we have to redo it. So here we go. And he hit. Look at that. So no harm, no foul, and I do lose a plane. So good on you. You got one back from me for a change. I've been dicing the hell out of you today, but over the course of the game, but you get one back. Okay, this is Commonwealth turn 3. Our ally Madman had to drop out of the game. He said he was a little bit too busy to keep his focus on what we were doing, so he stepped aside and we've stepped up for him. We do appreciate his first couple of turns, and I hope I get to play with him again. So Commonwealth and France, obviously, although France isn't doing anything this turn, do have a turn here. They have, let's see, 7... 9 is 16 and 22 IPCs to spend. They're going to buy a transport for 7. They're going to buy an infantry and a tank for 9, and they're going to buy 2 more infantry for 6. They only have 2 attacks, only one of which will involve dice. In Kenya, one of the 2 South African infantry is going to walk into Ethiopia and just take that without anything because the Italian guy took out one of my planes, the bugger. And then the Canadians are getting in the game finally. So the Canadians are going to load up an infantry and a tank from Quebec, and they are going to sail 1, 2. Oh, that should be 2, not 3. Oh no, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And they're going to attack Gibraltar because the Italians were nice enough to leave only 1 guy there. So we will attack there and see what happens. Okay, so here's the rolling. Landing in Gibraltar, we have the Canadians, and they are going to attack with a infantry at 1, a tank at 3, and the Italians will defend with an infantry at 2. So I'll just roll all 3 of these together. And hit. The Italians suddenly found their defense, and so the Canadian infantry is dead, but they do take the territory with the tank. Obviously, we're going to have to reinforce that a little bit later. Okay, I'll do my non-combats in just a sec. Okay, Commonwealth non-combat. The Canadian, whatever this guy is, destroyer, is going to come from C-Zone 106 to C-Zone 91 and try and support that Canadian transport. In Africa, let's zoom out a smidge. We are going to have some movement. The infantry in South Africa will rail 1, 2, 3 to Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. The artillery in Kenya will move into Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. And the infantry and the artillery that were already in Anglo-Egyptian Sudan will join the defense of Egypt. Okay. Over here in the Pacific, the Aussies are going to be moving around a little bit. We're going to take the 2 infantry from Sumatra, go 1, 2 to C-Zone 44 and drop off in Celebes. And then we're going to, based on this massive Japanese threat up here, we're going to turtle everything into New South Wales. So that's 2 anti-aircraft, 1 artillery, 2 infantry, and 3 fighters. And the cruiser and destroyer are also going to back up so that the Japanese don't get any offshore shots. They'll have to kill those 2 ships before they do anything. Okay, so I actually can continue, and I'll just place my new units. So 2 of the infantry are going into New South Wales just to beef up the defense there in case the chaplain tries anything funny. And then over here in South Africa, we'll get rid of this stuff. We're going to put in our tank and our infantry. And then way up in Canada here, we will put our new transport. Okay, I'll tidy up the board just a smidge, and I'll do the income and the disposition of forces in a sec. Okay, collect income and disposition of forces. Gibraltar obviously switches away from the Italians. It is now back to the British, although it's not worth anything. Ethiopia is now Commonwealth. So that's their first Axis territory, so that'll get them a bonus. And then also, over here in the Celebes, they're also going to pick up 2 for claiming the Dutch territory. In terms of income, on the income tracking chart, they go up 3, 1, 2, 3. Italy goes down 1 from 16 to 15. And so in terms of income, they're going to have a base income of 23. And then in terms of their bonuses, they don't get the one for the 5 warships because they've only got 3 right now. They do get the +3 because Japan does not control Java, Dutch New Guinea, New Britain, Celebes, or the Solomons. And I do have an Axis controlled territory. I do control an Axis territory, Ethiopia. So in terms of the money that they get, 23 base, +3 +1, so that's 27 total to spend at the end, or at the beginning of round 4. So let's do a disposition of forces. So go Canada. The Canadians are in the game and they're on the board. Okay, so in Quebec, infantry and artillery. In C-Zone 106, transport. Up in London, we have 2 infantry. Down in Gibraltar, we have 1 Canadian tank. In C-Zone 91, we have a transport and a destroyer. In Africa, let's back up here so we can see. In Africa, in the Union of South Africa, we have an infantry and a tank. In C-Zone 71, we have a transport. In Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, we have an infantry and an artillery. In Ethiopia, we have an infantry. And in this whole mess up here with all of the British units and French units, we have an infantry and an artillery that are South African. Moving over here to the Aussie side of the board, I think we can pretty much see everything if I'm there. Okay. In Malaya, there are still 2 Australian infantry. In the Celebes, there are 2 Australian infantry. C-Zone 44 has a transport, and everything is bunched into Sydney. We have 3 fighters. We have an artillery, we have 2 anti-aircraft, we have 4 infantry, and then in C-Zone 62, we have a cruiser and a destroyer. In New Zealand, we have an infantry, and I believe that's it. So we are on to round 4 of this very, very, very interesting game that we've got going here. Very much looking forward to seeing what my opponents do, and good turn. On to Commander Ironsides for Germany. Sorry, forgot about France. Okay, just disposition of forces because they're not doing anything. 2 infantry and a fighter in UK. And then just the lone infantryman in Egypt. In terms of Vichy forces, if anybody cares, there is a Vichy unit in Vichy in southern France. There's 1 Vichy unit in Casablanca, 2 in Morocco, 1 in Algeria. There is a Vichy destroyer in C-Zone 81 that's not really doing anything because it's just frozen there. And then there is a Vichy unit in French Indochina. So sorry about that. I forgot about France. Very easy to forget about. They haven't done much in the game. Anyway, again, on to turn 4. Good luck, Germany.